Your name is on a property deed. This person is trying. Angel says your name is on a property deed. This person is trying hard to remove your name because what you carry terrifies them. You carry not only ink upon that paper but divine purpose, favor, and legacy they can never replicate, no matter how many times they try to forge your signature in silence or smile at you in daylight while plotting beneath the stars. There are moments in the realm of the spirit when names carry more than legal ownership. They carry covenant, they carry promise, they carry spiritual significance. And your name, written on that deed, is more than a word. It is a key, it is a door, and it is a seal. It is an interruption to someone else's darkness. And they know it. They are not fighting for land, they are fighting to erase history. They want to pretend you never walked into that house, never stood under that roof, never dreamed in that bedroom, never wept in that kitchen, never believed that this would be the place where your healing would begin. But heaven was watching when they first invited you in. Heaven saw the motives, the envy, the buried greed. What they presented as unity was always a slow unveiling of separation. They made you think this was family, but they were studying you. They made you think this was love, but it was calculation. And the reason they are trying to remove your name is not just because they want the property, it is because your name has started speaking. It is echoing truths. It is uncovering secrets. It is reminding them that they will never be able to steal what they didn't suffer to earn. You may feel the cold chill in your chest lately, wondering why people who once celebrated your steps now walk around you like shadows afraid of light. You may feel disoriented, confused by the sudden distance, the passive-aggressive silence, the legal paperwork being brought up in whispers, the strange conversations about wills, names, titles. But this is not just a legal thing, this is a spiritual betrayal. Someone who sat at your table is now trying to remove your chair from the room. Someone who asked you to dream with them is now trying to erase every trace of your presence from the foundation of that house. They think that by removing your name, they can rewrite destiny. But what they do not understand is that your name is already carved into the walls of that place by angels. When you walked in, heaven documented it. When you cried in that hallway, the tears were recorded. When you worshipped in that living room, angels stood guard. Your prayers did something to the ground. Your faith did something to the structure. And even if your name is removed from paper, it cannot be removed from the covenant that was birthed the day you said, God, I believe you brought me here. So now, the person who is trying to remove your name is going into rooms, trying to convince others you were never meant to be there. They are rewriting timelines. They are bending truths. They are paying people, manipulating relatives, influencing lawyers, bribing notaries, revising contracts, unearthing old technicalities. But the Spirit says, none of these attempts can void the signature of the Most High. You were chosen to be part of that property's story. And whether they like it or not, the soil recognizes your footsteps. The walls remember your voice. You may be feeling disrespected, discarded, dishonored. You may feel as if God has turned silent while others are loud with plans of deceit. But He is not silent, He is watching, observing how far they are willing to go just to cut your name from the deed, not realizing they are sawing the very roots of their own peace. What they are doing is setting up a stage, not for your defeat, but for their exposure. They think they're about to win the house, but they are about to lose something much greater. This is not the first time you've been betrayed in silence. This is not the first time you've been invited into something sacred only for someone to resent how much light you carry once you arrive. There are patterns here. This is not just about a deed, this is about inheritance. This is about generational jealousy. You don't just remind them of who they aren't, you remind them of who they could never be. That scares them more than losing a property. And so they plot. You might have noticed someone moving documents out of sight, making hushed phone calls at odd hours, smiling too wide when you enter the room but looking away too quickly when you try to connect. The signs have been there. The way they change the subject when legal matters are discussed. The way they flinch when you bring up the future. The way they try to convince you to sign something just for formality. The Spirit is exposing this now because the trap is time-sensitive. The enemy knows they are running out of legal room to maneuver, so they're accelerating. But they didn't expect you to pray. They didn't expect you to feel the holy discomfort in your belly. They didn't expect the whisper of the Holy Spirit to interrupt their plan. You've been too kind, too trusting, too generous with people who only invited you in so they could watch you from close range. But no more. This is a season of divine reversal. This is a moment of awakening. You are not to sign that paper. You are not to hand over what heaven gave you because someone cries and says they're just overwhelmed. You are not to step back from the fight just because you're tired of drama. Because what they are trying to do is more than petty, it's prophetic interference. The enemy is afraid of what you'll build if you stay. He is terrified of what will rise from the ground if your name remains attached to it. He sees what you don't yet see, that the house is not just for you. It is meant to be a sanctuary, a place where others will find healing, protection, and truth. And if the enemy can get your name off that deed, he thinks he can close the door to what God wanted to birth through you on that land. But heaven is not idle. Justice is not sleeping. Angels have been dispatched to intercept the conversations happening behind your back. A spiritual subpoena is being issued. Those who have touched the contract with dirty hands will feel the trembling. Those who lied with a straight face will wake up in cold sweats. Those who tampered with records will find their own names unraveling. Because when you touch a child of God, you don't just tangle with them, you tangle with the whole court of heaven. You may not have the right words. You may not understand all the legal terms. You may not have the money to fight this in the courts of men. But heaven is standing now. The gavel is in God's hand. And when He rules, no human opinion, signature, or strategy can override His decree. Your name will not be erased. In fact, it is about to be elevated. There is a shaking coming. The very foundation of that house will feel it. Something will fall from a shelf. A crack will appear on a wall. A photo frame will collapse without warning. These are not coincidences, they are signals. The land is reacting. The structure is groaning under the weight of the lie being told. The building itself is testifying in your favor. And those who tried to remove you will soon be the ones removed. You may have thought the warfare was about your past, but it has always been about your future. They see it even if you don't. They know that if you remain, you will unlock something ancient, something pure, something divine. And so they rush to silence you, to make you question your memory, to paint you as unstable, as forgetful, as irrelevant. But the records of heaven are intact. You were there. You have proof. Even if you lost the physical papers, the spiritual evidence is undeniable. This season is not about proving anything to them. It is about positioning your heart to receive what cannot be taken. What is yours is not just protected, it is being amplified. You are being vindicated not just in private, but in the open. Soon, those who whispered will be forced to explain why they lied. Those who conspired will be forced to reconcile with the fact that they lost more than a legal case, they lost favor, they lost covering, they lost peace. Your name is still written on the papers of that land, on the deed of that house, and it was not by mistake. I allowed your name to be placed there because I saw your heart, your loyalty, and your sacrifice. I saw how you gave when you had very little. I watched how you supported when no one else lifted a hand. But now, something is shifting, and not by your choice. You see, the person who walks through those halls and smiles at you as if everything is fine has been working very quietly behind the veil. They've been whispering things in rooms you've never entered, signing things behind your back, speaking your name in sentences you would never approve of. And though you've been sensing something was off, you tried to dismiss it, tried to stay faithful to your understanding of loyalty and trust. But I cannot let you stay blind forever. This person is trying to remove your name from the property, not because you don't belong there, but because they want it all. They want the story rewritten as if you never existed, never contributed, never held that key in your hand. They're pushing papers, contacting others, using legal phrases you might not understand, but I see it all. They are rewriting truths into lies and calling it justice. They are hoping you'll stay silent, that you won't notice the mail missing, the conversations suddenly avoided, the way their tone has shifted. This isn't random. It's been planned. And now the time has come to reveal what has been hidden. You've been left out of conversations about the future of something that is yours. When decisions are made, you're not consulted. When meetings happen, your name is conveniently excluded. The financial numbers they shared with you don't match the real ones. There's been editing, omission, quiet distortion. You might even hear them say, "It's for the best." They don't really need to be involved. But what they really mean is, if I can just erase their name, I can have it all to myself. I'm not saying this to frighten you, I'm saying this to awaken you. Because I've heard your prayers. I've seen you wrestle with confusion. I've felt your heart break as the foundation of trust cracked slowly underneath your feet. The papers that once brought unity have become a source of quiet division. The signature that once represented partnership is now seen as an obstacle by the very person who once praised your loyalty. And yet, you still hesitate to confront it. Because your heart is good. Because you remember the good times. Because you don't want to believe they could do this to you. But I am telling you, they are doing it. They've met with someone else. They've tried to convince them that you were never really meant to be involved. They've forged a new narrative. And though your name is still legally written, they are hoping that soon it will not be. They are attempting to present you as someone who doesn't care, who walked away, who abandoned. They've said things like, "I don't think they want this anymore," but that's not true, is it? You wanted it. You still care. You just didn't want to fight for what was already yours. You thought that love would protect you. You thought loyalty would be enough. But I have come to intervene. I will not allow them to quietly take what you helped build. I will not let their manipulations bear fruit. I am about to raise a voice on your behalf. You may not even know who this person is yet, but I will stir their conscience to speak up. Someone will step in. A message will arrive. A call will come. And it will confirm what I am whispering to you now. There is a wind blowing through your spirit, and it is not an ordinary breeze. It is the stirring of something divine. God is calling your heart into a season of watchfulness. You may not see the papers being shuffled behind closed doors. You may not hear the conversations being whispered under hushed breath. But deep inside, something has already alerted you. Your soul is uneasy. And that's not coincidence, it's revelation. It's warning without aggression, it's knowledge wrapped in mercy. You're not meant to panic. You're meant to pray. You're not meant to fight. You're meant to stand in faith. Because even now, someone is trying to push you out of something that belongs to you. They saw the blessing on you. They noticed the favor. And where love once sat between you, a strange greed has quietly settled. They saw the name printed there, your name, and something in them twisted. This name, they thought, does not belong. But it does. You know it does. And more importantly, heaven knows it does. There was a day when that person smiled with you. Maybe you shared plans, laughter, a meal, or even a prayer. And during that time, your name was safe. But things change when the heart is overtaken by shadows. This isn't about the paper, it's about what the paper represents. Legacy, inheritance, honor. And they've decided they want it all. But heaven whispers, no, not like this. Not in the dark. Not by deceit. This is not a season for you to be afraid. You must know this. The earth may tremble, signatures may be forged, phone calls may be made, but there is a greater court, one that sits above all others. And in that court, your name still stands. Unshaken. Unmoved. I have seen it all. Before the hand reached for the pen, before the thought was formed, I saw the plan. And I will not allow your name to be removed. Let peace return to your spirit. Do not act from fear. Do not run in confusion. Stand still. Breathe. Trust. And lift your voice in secret prayers. For though you may not understand the timing, though you may feel forgotten, I tell you, nothing concerning you is overlooked. Nothing. I am not finished with you. This moment is not punishment. It is positioning. You were born for a deeper inheritance than land or buildings. And yet, those physical places carry a divine echo. They are reminders on earth of the favor marked in heaven. The place that holds your name is not just about money or history, it is a token of God's covenant with you. And that covenant cannot be revoked by human schemes. Do not fear the letters that may come in the mail. Do not be anxious over names mentioned in passing. Heaven is not worried. So neither should you be. Instead, worship. Praise. Reclaim the air around you with words of gratitude. You have no idea how many angels stand between you and injustice. You have no idea how many prayers from the past are now surrounding you like a shield. This is your reminder, you are not alone. The person trying to remove your name believes they are clever. They believe they are hidden. But they have underestimated the watchfulness of heaven. You have cried quiet tears, those tears were not ignored. They were recorded. And you must know, even in the midst of shadows, God is writing something new. Not a replacement for what was taken, but a vindication. A restoration. There are people who think papers and pens can overwrite what God has promised. But what is written in divine ink cannot be erased by human hands. The deed may exist on paper, but the ownership was ordained by Spirit. This is a time of spiritual clarity for you. Don't speak too quickly. Don't argue in the open. Let God go before you. The courtroom of man will hear a sound soon, a truth being revealed in such a quiet and undeniable way that no argument will prevail against it. You will be amazed how suddenly things reverse. The ones who schemed will grow quiet. And the one who trusted you will stand amazed, untouched by harm. You've been kept by something higher than legal protection. You've been shielded by favor. There's a stillness in your steps that confuses your enemies. They expected panic. But instead, you carry peace. Because you know, He is with you. And where God stands beside you, no false hand can rewrite your future. It is not just a home or a land thereafter. It's the silence of your soul. But you must refuse to give it. Your peace is your protest. Your worship is your defense. And your stillness is your sign that God has already gone ahead. There will come a day, soon, when the documents will come back around. You will see your name, unmoved, untouched. And someone will tremble, not because of you, but because heaven intervened. Because the prayers of the faithful are more powerful than the signatures of the unjust. In the meantime, do not harden your heart. Yes, you feel betrayed. Yes, you feel the sting of being pushed aside by someone you once loved or trusted. But let God handle the justice. Your only task is to remain in alignment with peace. To walk in light. To stay soft in heart and firm in faith. Let heaven fight without you getting your hands dirty. This is how honor is protected. Not through rage, not through retaliation, but through trust. You may feel powerless, but you are not. You are positioned in a secret place. And the one who watches over you never sleeps. Never forgets. Let this moment be sacred. Speak blessings over your situation. Bless the land. Bless the people. Speak favor over yourself. And ask God to move. Not with aggression, but with righteousness. You are not standing in the courts of man, you are standing in the shelter of the Almighty. Keep praying. This battle will not last forever. There will be an ending. There will be a moment when you look back and realize this threat was only a shadow passing by. You were never truly in the dark. God lit a fire in you that could never be blown out. And while they were planning, you were praying. And your prayers shook the unseen. You will know when it's time to act. Until then, be still. This message is your confirmation. You were not imagining it. The signs were real. The whispers were warnings. Your name truly is being threatened in secret. But more importantly, your name is being defended in heaven. And heaven will always win. This is not just about you. This is about your children, your future, your legacy. That name on the deed may look ordinary to others, but to God, it carries a prophetic weight. And that's why He won't let it be erased. Because you still have work to do. There are still promises connected to that place. Even if it seems impossible, even if documents are already in motion, heaven can still reverse it. You've seen it before in other ways. And you will see it again. The same God who rescued you before is about to defend you now. You do not need to make a scene. You do not need to explain yourself to everyone. The truth will rise like the sun. It always does. And when it does, it will shine light on every shadow. This is not the end of your story. This is the uncovering of something hidden. You will not be removed. You will be restored. And those who tried to erase you will be silenced, not by you, but by the presence of truth. So lift your head. Your spirit was never meant to bow in fear. It was designed to walk in power, in humility, in dignity. Keep walking. And know this, finally, God